Have you ever wondered why some people are awake while the world is still quiet? Not to post pictures, and not to feel special, but because something inside them refuses to sleep. I used to ask myself this question every morning, usually while my alarm was already ringing for the third time. My eyes were open, but my mind felt heavy. Another day waiting. Another day already late. My name is Ethan. I am not successful in the way people usually imagine success. I am just a few steps ahead of who I used to be. Back then, mornings felt like a small failure. The day started with pressure, with noise, with messages and deadlines. I always felt like life was already running, and I was chasing it from behind. I watched other people talk about waking up early. They looked calm, focused, ready, and that made me uncomfortable. Because I knew it was not really about the time. It was about control. This is not a story about discipline, and it is not about becoming rich. It is about a quiet decision made when no one is watching. A decision that scared me more than I expected. If you have ever felt behind before the day even starts, this story is for you. Stay with me until the end. My days followed the same pattern for a long time. I woke up tired, not because I slept late, but because my mind never rested. The first thing I touched was my phone. News, messages, other people's lives. Before I even stood up, I already felt small. Mornings felt rushed, cold water on my face, half listening to the world around me, always checking the time, always feeling late in my head, even when I wasn't late in reality. Work felt noisy, not loud, just crowded inside. I did what I had to do, but nothing ever felt finished. Thoughts followed me everywhere. Every evening I promised myself tomorrow would be different. Tomorrow I would wake up earlier. Tomorrow I would feel ready. Tomorrow I would have clarity. But that tomorrow never came. I told myself a simple lie. I am not a morning person. It sounded logical, it sounded honest, and it saved me from trying. I believed successful people were built differently. Stronger, more focused, less tired. So I stayed where I was, waiting for motivation, waiting for energy, waiting for the right moment to change. Days passed quietly. Nothing broke. Nothing improved. The breaking point did not arrive loudly. There was no dramatic moment. Just a quiet morning that felt heavier than usual. I woke up late again. Light was already filling the room. The world had started without me. I sat on the edge of the bed and felt something strange. Not anger, not sadness, shame. I asked myself a question I had avoided for years. What if nothing changes? The thought stayed. It didn't rush. It didn't scare me fast. It scared me slowly. I imagined my life 5 years ahead. The same mornings, the same excuses, the same tired feeling before the day even begins. My chest felt tight, not because life was hard, but because I was not meeting it. Inside my head, 2 voices spoke. One said, "You are fine. Everyone lives like this." The other said, "You are hiding." That's when I realized something painful. I was not afraid of waking up early. I was afraid of being alone with my thoughts. Silence scared me, because silence asks questions. That morning, I did nothing different. I still rushed. I still checked my phone. I still left feeling behind. But something had cracked. I could feel it. A few days later, I noticed something small. Not a rule, and not advice, just a pattern. On rare mornings when I woke up before my alarm, I felt calmer. Nothing magical happened. The room was the same. My life was the same. But my mind was not crowded yet. So I tried something simple. I did not aim for early mornings forever, and I did not change my sleep schedule completely. I only made one quiet agreement with myself. Wake up before the first message. No phone, no news, no voices from the world. Just me, sitting in silence for a few minutes. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 10. I didn't plan my life, and I didn't repeat affirmations. I just sat and noticed my breathing. It felt uncomfortable. My mind searched for escape. But I realized something important. Those minutes were not about productivity. They were about ownership. For the first time, the day did not touch me first. I touched the day. There was no motivation in it. Only space. I didn't tell anyone. It felt too fragile to explain. The struggle came quietly. Some mornings I ignored the agreement. The phone won, and the silence lost. Other mornings I sat there and felt nothing. No clarity, no peace, just discomfort. I questioned the point of it. I thought, this is useless. Nothing is changing. My body resisted. My mind complained. Sleep pulled me back. I still woke up tired. I still felt behind some days. The system did not fix my life, and that made it harder. Part of me wanted quick proof. A sign. A reward. But all I had was a quiet room and slow mornings. I noticed something small, though. The days I failed felt heavier than before, because now I knew what I was missing. I was standing between two versions of myself, one familiar and one unknown. I didn't know which one would win. I didn't know if this would last. All I knew was that going back felt easier and continuing felt uncertain. And I stayed right there. So I stayed there, between comfort and uncertainty. At first, the mornings didn't feel special. They felt empty, quiet, in a way that made my thoughts louder. Some days I sat in the dark and felt impatient, checking the time, wondering how many minutes were left before the world woke up. But slowly, something shifted, not outside, but inside. I started noticing how my mind moved, how quickly it jumped to worries, how often it searched for noise. In that silence, I saw myself more clearly. Not the version I showed others, but the real one, the tired one, the uncertain one. I didn't judge it. I just noticed it. And something strange happened. The day stopped feeling like an attack. When work started, I was still busy, still imperfect, still learning, but I wasn't chasing the day anymore. I had already met myself before it began. Some mornings were still difficult. Some were peaceful. Most were just normal. But normal felt different now. Calmer. Slower. I didn't wake up early to change my life. I woke up early to meet it quietly. But this is where most people fail. They hear stories like this and expect a clear reward. More money, more confidence, more success. When that doesn't arrive quickly, they stop. I almost did too. There were mornings when nothing felt better. No energy, no focus, just the same old thoughts. That was confusing, because effort usually promises results. But this effort was different. It was invisible. No one noticed. No one praised it. No one cared. And that made it hard to continue. I asked myself why I was doing it. If there was no reward, what was the point? The answer was quiet, almost uncomfortable. The point was not improvement. It was honesty. Those early hours showed me how I really lived, how often I reacted instead of choosing. Most people quit here because they want change without awareness. Awareness comes first. And it is not exciting. It is slow. It is silent. And it asks you to stay longer than you want to. The shift didn't feel dramatic. It felt small. One morning I noticed I didn't reach for my phone, not because I forced myself, but because I didn't want to. Another morning I felt ready before the day asked anything from me. Not confident, just steady. These moments were easy to miss. They didn't announce themselves, but they added up. I started seeing myself differently, not as someone who needed fixing, but as someone learning to listen. I trusted my mornings more, and slowly, I trusted myself more. Waking up early stopped being a habit. It became part of who I was becoming. I wasn't trying to be successful. I was trying to be present, and that changed everything. Decisions became quieter. Reactions became slower. Life felt less crowded. I didn't control my future. I controlled my attention. And that was enough. The world still woke up loudly, but I met it calmly. This is why successful people wake up before the world does, not for productivity and not for discipline. They wake up early to choose themselves first. Before messages. Before noise. Before expectations. Success does not start with doing more. It starts with noticing more. You don't need to wake up at 5. You don't need a perfect routine. You need a moment that belongs only to you. A moment where life is quiet and you can hear yourself clearly. That moment builds something strong. Not fast, but deep. When the world wakes up, you are already grounded, already steady. That is the real advantage. Here is a simple challenge. Tomorrow, wake up before the world touches you, even by 10 minutes. No phone, no noise. Just sit, breathe, and notice how it feels. Then tell me in the comments, what was the hardest part? And if this story helped you see mornings differently, consider subscribing. This channel is for people who want to live quieter but stronger lives.